Welcome to Education Lifeline. This is Trishita Paul, and today we will be graphing absolute value inequalities on the coordinate plane. Now, if you haven't watched our previous videos on absolute value and absolute value inequalities, they will be linked in the description below, as well as in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Please check those videos out before watching this one. Here we are asked to graph the absolute value inequality. Y is less than negative of the absolute value x plus 1 plus 3. As always, graphing absolute value inequalities is just like graphing absolute value equations. When graphing an absolute value inequality, it is necessary to make sure that the inequality is in the form y equals a times x, the absolute value of x minus h plus k. That way, the inequality will be easier to graph. Now, the second step is to identify the vertex of the graph. As discussed in our shifting absolute value graphs video, the vertex of the graph will be at the coordinate hk. In this case, the vertex is at the point -1, 3, as we can see by the given inequality. Once we graph the vertex onto the coordinate plane, we must identify whether the graph will be solid or dashed, as we do when solving any type of inequality. Since the inequality here is less than, the graph will be dashed. Remember that less than or greater than is graphed by a dashed line, while less than or equal to and greater than or equal to is graphed by a solid line. Now, before graphing the rest of the graph, we must look at the value of a. In this case, it is negative, which means that the graph will be flipped vertically to look something like this. The final step in graphing absolute value inequalities is shading appropriately. To do this, we can test a point that is not in the absolute value graph to see whether it is true for the inequality. Here we can see the origin is not in the absolute value. If we plug that into the inequality, we get 0 is less than negative absolute value of 0 plus 1 plus 3. The absolute value of 0 plus 1 is just 1, and that leaves us with -1 plus 3, or 2. Because 0 is less than 2, we shade outside of the absolute value inequality, like this. If this video was helpful, please drop a like and subscribe to Education Lifeline. Be sure to watch our other videos on absolute value and check the description below for other helpful resources. Thanks for watching.